Maple Leafs Nation, have you ever tried to complete a puzzle knowing a crucial piece is missing? You stare at the table, the manual, the picture on the box, and think, okay, but how am I supposed to finish this without that corner piece? Well, that's exactly the dilemma the Maple Leafs are facing right now. The difference? The piece they need has a name, a surname, and is already asked to leave his current team, Yegor Chinakhov. And now, dear viewer, the agonizing question is, will Brad Treliving rush to fit that piece before someone else does? Or will he leave the lid of the puzzle box open once again, hoping the perfect fit just falls from the sky? Today, we're diving into a story filled with wasted talent, suppressed potential, and a trade that could shake the trajectory of both the Leafs and the Blue Jackets. And yes, we're also talking about Nick Robertson, Toronto's eternal almost. Let's go. Last week, 24-year-old Russian winger Yegor Chinakhov officially requested a trade from the Columbus Blue Jackets. It didn't take long for speculation to explode across the league, and among the swirling rumors, one stood out like a beacon in the night. The Toronto Maple Leafs might just be the perfect destination. The Leafs are currently undergoing a tactical rebuild, a necessary evolution after Mitch Marner's departure, and several other significant roster changes. The undeniable need to inject consistent scoring into their top six is real, it's palpable, and Chinakhov, with his incredibly affordable $2.1 million contract, dynamic technical profile, and stated desire to leave Columbus, appears as a strategic opportunity that's almost too good to ignore. It's not that the Leafs are desperate, but the truth is that losing a player of Marner's caliber is more than just a drop in points on the stat sheet. It's an emotional and symbolic loss that reverberates through the entire organization. Every time a team loses a generational talent, it has to reinvent itself, find new avenues for offense, and Chinakhov, while not yet a superstar, offers a rare, coveted skill, the ability to score goals out of nowhere with a shot that can truly surprise. The 2024-25 season was, at the very least, turbulent for Toronto. The contention window, once wide open, feels like it's shrinking with each passing year. John Tavares is aging, and the team's dependence on the offensive prowess of Austin Matthews and William Nylander has never felt so glaring, so heavy. The team is still trying to redefine its identity, to find its footing after years of frustrating playoff exits. On the other hand, Columbus is still very much in a rebuilding phase, but they are operating under new leadership. Don Waddell, formerly of the Carolina Hurricanes, is now in charge, and he's a general manager who's not afraid to make bold moves, to cut deep, and to trade valuable assets when necessary to reshape his roster. The mere attempt to include Chinakhov in a package for Noah Dobson shows just how open and aggressive he's willing to be in the trade market. At the same time, the NHL market is trending toward more young-for-young trades, especially between teams looking to redefine their core identities. That's what happened with Kirby Dach in Montreal, with Alex Newhook in Colorado, and it can absolutely happen again now with Chinakhov and Robertson. This isn't just a swap of players. It's a strategic realignment for both franchises. Yegor Chinakhov is an intriguing player, a 2020 first-round pick who entered the NHL as a promise of blistering speed, a sharp shot, and natural offensive instincts. In his best moments with Columbus, he flashed genuine star potential, scoring mid-range goals, executing brilliant transition plays, and showcasing a well-rounded game on the power play. But here's the catch. He never truly had a consistent run. He averaged just 10 minutes of ice time per game, a shockingly low number for a player of his talent, and was frequently scratched from the lineup, left to watch from the press box. His frustration, understandably, built up over time, and here's the key point. He wants more. More minutes, more responsibility, more room to make mistakes and grow as a player, something Columbus seems unable or unwilling to provide right now. And that, in a nutshell, is why his trade request makes total, undeniable sense. Nick Robertson, on the other hand, seems stuck in an endless cycle of expectation and disappointment. He scored 15 goals last season, a respectable number for many players, but between nagging injuries and a persistent lack of consistent opportunity, he never truly established himself as a permanent fixture in Toronto's lineup. At 23 years old, he still possesses significant upside, especially on a team that can offer more minutes, more trust, and less suffocating pressure. However, Respected outlets like The Athletic have suggested that his trade value has dropped considerably in recent times, complicating the idea of a straight one-for-one swap. At one point, Robertson was seen by fans and analysts alike as the franchise's future sniper, the heir apparent. His quick release, big game mentality, and unwavering work ethic turned heads and ignited hope. But after years of trying to break through, and with time marching relentlessly forward, patience, both within the fan base and front office, is wearing thin. Financially, both players are manageable, which is crucial for any trade. Chinakhov is signed through 2026 with a team-friendly $2.1 million cap hit. Robertson is on an expiring deal and could be a low-risk, high-reward piece for Columbus. For Toronto, Chinakhov's tactical fit as a top-six winger or even a high-upside third-liner holds real, tangible value. For Columbus, Robertson is precisely the kind of calculated gamble a rebuilding team should be making. It's easy to look at Chinakhov and see just a jersey number, another name on a trade rumor list. But there's more to his story, a depth of character that often goes unnoticed. When he first arrived in the NHL, many Columbus fans didn't even know who he was. His draft selection was seen as a reach, and he came straight from the KHL without much hype or fanfare. But Chinakhov took it all in stride. New country, new language, new system. He didn't complain publicly, didn't stir drama, not until now. His trade request didn't come from ego or a fleeting whim. It came from accumulated frustration, from a deep-seated belief that he can offer more, that his talent is being underutilized. And where does that hit hardest? In a team like Toronto, which has seen promising youngsters get stuck in the fourth-line abyss, their potential slowly suffocated by lack of opportunity. Robertson, meanwhile, is almost a tragic symbol of the Leafs' patience, or perhaps their lack thereof. Since 2020, fans have been waiting, hoping for him to take that elusive leap. He's been through it all. Major injuries, tantalizing flashes of brilliance, coaching changes, line reshuffles. At 23, he already feels like a worn-down veteran. But he's also the kind of player who could absolutely explode in the right setting, given the right opportunity. And maybe, just maybe for him, Toronto never was that place. In Toronto, Chinakhov would be more than just a replacement for Marner. He'd be a chance to rebuild the second line with added versatility and a different offensive dimension. His ability to play effectively in the neutral zone, accelerate transitions, and perform on both ends of the ice would make him an invaluable addition to the Leaf system. With Matthews and Nylander leading the offense, Toronto desperately needs players who can float between support and finishing roles, who can adapt to different situations. Chinakhov brings exactly that. He won't fix everything, no single player can, but he fills a major gaping hole. As for Robertson in Columbus, he would finally get what he lacked most in Toronto: consistent time and space. With less spotlight, less suffocating media attention, and more freedom to experiment, he could develop without the crushing pressure of a market like Toronto. For a rebuilding team banking on young talents like Kent Johnson, Adam Fantilli, and David Jiricek, Robertson could slot in as a complementary offensive piece, adding depth and another scoring threat. This trade echoes other scenery changes that have revitalized careers, like Anthony Duclair's rebirth in Ottawa or Sam Bennett becoming a key piece in Florida after years of mediocrity in Calgary. Chinakhov could be that guy for Toronto. Robertson could be that guy for Columbus. The potential for a win-win scenario is undeniable. According to Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet, there's strong interest in Chinakhov across the league, but Columbus wants more than just a simple lateral move. The insider also reported that Toronto is indeed one of the teams that has already called to inquire about the player. Frank Saravalli from Daily Faceoff has stated that Robertson still holds value, but he needs a market with patience, a place where he can truly find his game without constant scrutiny. Even Columbus GM Don Waddell has confirmed that he's already talking to teams and is open to offers that make sense for the team's future, indicating a willingness to move Chinakhov if the price is right. In short, Chinakhov wants out, Toronto desperately needs a winger, and Robertson hasn't quite fit in Toronto, but could undeniably help Columbus. The trade makes sense on multiple levels: tactical, financial, and emotional. However, it'll probably require more than just a one-for-one deal. Perhaps a second-round pick, maybe a promising defensive prospect to sweeten the pot. The key is The door is cracked open. Someone just has to push. If this trade goes through, Chinakhov would finally have a chance to shine in a more offensive system, with more space to operate and surrounded by legitimate stars. He might just be the type of player who develops exponentially faster when surrounded by elite talent. And the Leafs, amid all their offseason changes, need smart, calculated bets like this to reestablish themselves as a true contender. For Robertson, going to Columbus would be a real shot at a fresh start, a chance to rebuild his confidence in his game without the relentless pressure and tabloid scrutiny of Toronto. And for the fans, a trade like this could mark the start of a new, exciting era in Toronto hockey. It's not the blockbuster move that dominates headlines for weeks, but it's precisely the kind of shrewd deal that championship teams make, the subtle adjustments that turn potential into performance. From a Russian player's frustration in Ohio to a Canadian trying to reinvent himself, this story has it all: talent, doubt, potential, and an open-ended future. Nothing is guaranteed in the NHL, and that's exactly why trades like this are so fascinating, so compelling to watch unfold. So, what about you, Leafs Nation? Would you trade Robertson for Chinakhov? Do you think Toronto should make more bets like this, or should they hold out for something bigger? A true superstar? Is Columbus asking too much for Chinakhov? Let me know all your thoughts, your passionate opinions, and your predictions in the comments section below. And if you were Brad Trailiving, what would you do right now? In the end, maybe the trade won't happen. Maybe Chinakhov ends up in Arizona, and Robertson finally becomes a consistent scorer in Anaheim. But if there's one thing the NHL teaches us, it's that the best stories often begin with overlooked players and trades no one saw coming. And this one, it smells like good trouble. If you enjoyed this analysis, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, because there's a lot more coming, especially if this trade actually happens. And of course, keep an eye out. The NHL offseason still has plenty of surprises in store. See you in the next video. Until then,